Aloha, everyone. This is Jean Marie Russell on Raise Your Vibration with Jean Marie. And I am here in Kauai, Hawaii. I'm at my center, Dolphin Touch Wellness Center, here in the heart of Kapa'a, where we do body work, energy work, intuitive readings, retreats, immersions, excursions, visit sacred sites, do workshops, classes, and take people on transformational retreats. So today I am joined by the wonderful and amazing Matthew Bueno, who lives in Shasta, Mount Shasta, who has another connection. I have a very strong connection to Lemuria. These are our Andara crystals that we connect with, and we work with this energy of the Andaras. And it has a very strong connection to Mount Shasta as well. And maybe Matthew can share a little bit about that when he talks. And Matthew and I will be doing a retreat coming in June, and a couple other things we're going to share. So take it over, Matthew.
Hello, everybody. My name is Matthew Bueno. Lightning Bear is my native name. I've been called lots of things lately, not all good. But on the other point is that I do live here in Weed, in the area of Mount Shasta. Actually, the mountain is in my backyard. So it's just right out there. And so every morning I get up, I get to look at that beautiful snowy mountaintop. So yes, we're going to be having a retreat here in June. Now, the place that Jeannie got and myself, it's right up where we've had numerous spiritual experiences. Up in that particular area, where this crystal, is it crystal waters? Crystal waters, yeah.
Waters.
So, yeah, I don't know why I got tongue tied there. Crystal waters. So
Maybe
there is
another language you're speaking.
That particular place has a lot of interesting energies there. It's the place I first met Bigfoot. Not to scare you or anything, not to worry you. They're very gentle people, and I know this by my own personal experiences. We are having a Hamblecha or Vision Quest up there years back, 2013, in that particular area, and right above where we are, there's a mountain right in the back, and that's a huge altar where a lot of the medicine people go and pray or do their vision quest. And during that time, when people go up and suffer, right, when they're up there suffering, we're praying down below and singing on the big drum or in the sweat lodge, praying for those people up there while helping them to get their visions. While all this is happening, the energy generates really intensifies there, and it actually removes the 3D, 4D, 5D energies, so where the veils become very thin. And that river alone, that river that runs through the backyard where this retreat center will be, has a lot of power in that. I've seen birds come out of nowhere, out of the top of that river, just fly out. Like there's a different dimension, that whole river going down. Wow. Anyways, the story goes, we went to a gathering to bless the water that year, because we're in a really bad drought situation. And when we came back, we're all lit, with energy from praying and being in this ceremony, and the people are suffering, and the veils were getting thin. And that night, we heard about 7 p.m. Right when where we were in the valley where there was a lot of trees. So even though the sun would go down at 8:30 or 9, it was still getting dark where we were because we were just surrounded by trees in this valley, and we started hearing knocking on a tree way off the distance. And I knew right away what that was. I knew what that was. And I called down to my brother who was down below me in a different tent. I said, bro, macchiata, that's macchiata. Macchiata is the word we use for Bigfoot, which is stinky relative. And so I heard his knocking, and I heard, I mean, it sounded like little people or just like rain coming down the side of the hill. And I heard, and I had this ice chest in my tent. I have a front part where you can sit and the mosquitoes don't get you, and then you have the sleeping part. I had all the food that one of the ladies up there wanted me to eat for her, because when people are suffering, want to eat food to help them stay out of their hunger mind, to stay in their prayer. And so I had this ice chest full of her food, and I heard like moving, like wrappers moving in there, and I thought, stupid raccoons, what are they doing in my ice chest? I opened up the tent, and there was nothing there. And that happened like three more times. Finally, I got the ice chest and I put it underneath my cot inside my main tent, and I just laid there. And then all of a sudden, I started hearing just like words and things all around me, and I heard a boulder coming down. And then my brother, who was below me, I said, Art, do you hear that? He goes, go to sleep. And then I heard his tent rolling down the hill. And I said,
my God.
And he said, oh man, the little people are trying to shove shit up my nose. I'm like, that's gross. And so the little people were really messing with him. The Wiwilas, as we call them, the little people, have this tendency to where the Kuruk people believe that if you look at them, they can mess with you. But if you know you're there, you just ignore them. And that's what he was trying to do. He was trying to ignore them. While this is all happening, there was a woman behind me in her tent. And she says, forget this. And I heard her walk around my tent and get in her car and lock her doors. And then I smelled it. You can smell macchiata because it's a really intense stench, if you will.
Wow.
And so up in this particular area, a lot of that happened. So when we're going to be up there, we're going to be singing, we're going to be protected. Macchiata, Bigfoot, protects the people of the light. He protects the generations of people who are bringing something good to the planet. And he helps to develop and helps people to grow through that energy exchange. And so there's little people, there's fairy people, there's this beautiful dimension that travels along that river. And at night, if we're having ceremony, if Jeannie or I are just out there and we're praying or singing out there, you'll literally hear drums and not know where they're coming from. And there's actually neighbors, kind of like maybe about a third of a mile down the road, and you can hear things happening in that area. So that particular area that we're going to be at is very, very strong, very, very powerful. Wow. And so I've never been anywhere other than the one place at Stewart Springs. So this is going to be very interesting.
Wow.
So we go up there and we're going to be, walking on the mountain. We're going to be visiting some waterfalls. We're going to be doing some, what we call, I have this staff over there in the corner. And it's a staff that bridges spirit world into the staff because I used it in ceremony. I've had it sitting at our Sundance with the other staffs of Bear Doctor Sundance in South Dakota, and so when I take that with us, what it does is that it sends a bolt of lightning down to the center of the earth and causes an energy of influx to come up and bridge like an upside down umbrella. And so when we do a channeling on the mountain, I'm going to have people hold that and make a medicine wheel around everybody and do a song, and you're going to start to feel the power. The stick will automatically start to move on its own. And that's the stirring that it does, in this particular manner. And I've used it for a lot of my different metaphysical classes over the years. And I've had that since, I gotta say, maybe 98. I've had it since about 98. And I got it in New York, and it's shaped as a lightning bolt at the bottom. So that's, we're going to have some pretty interesting.
We're going to have some fun. Oh my gosh. Wow.
Plus, have you felt what's happening in the world? Oh my God.
Oh my God. The solar flares, the full moon, the energy is so intense, so crazy. And people are experiencing a lot of different things, some on the physical, some emotional. It's been pretty intense lately. And
I had this feeling the other day when I was I was sitting here meditating. I started to phase in and out of my body. Like I can see myself coming out of my head, coming back, and it startled me because I wasn't used to that, and I didn't know what was happening, and so I just went in and I trusted what was happening, And that's when I went on that journey with Merlin, and he took me to the ocean to speak to the whales.
Right.
And that was, I did not expect that. I didn't ask for it. I didn't, it wasn't something I intended in having, but I went, and so things like that keep happening where I believe the planet itself is reaching out to speak to us in a lot of different ways.
Totally. So I did a water therapy, as you know, the same place we did our water therapy with the group, the last retreat that we did. And I went to that same spot. It's a very sacred spot on Kauai. And as soon as we got there with the woman I was going to be working on, and she's showing me something called cosmic swimming, which is amazing, like moving your body like a DNA molecule and flipping and rotating. So right in front of us, as soon as we sat down and we started connecting in with the water, doing our meditation, right in front of us, humpback whales just started breaching. And not just one, it was like one after another after another. There were like 10 times, and it was just like incredible. There were multiple whales, and I was like, and they were, we're like right, I mean, if you could draw a line right in front of us, these humpback whales are totally putting on a show. And she's coming out here next year to do a retreat on the whales and connecting with them. So I'm working with her on that retreat, but it's like, it was just magical. It was just crazy how the whales are showing up and communicating with us. It was definitely a communication and a transmission that we received from the whales as they were breaching and hanging out right in front of us. And it was just like, we both were, just feeling so blessed and awed by the experience.
So you remember that that experience we had with the man that was living in that house that we had a retreat in?
Yes.
Those spirits, those ohana, have been at my house for the last couple of days.
Oh, you're kidding.
They've been in my home.
They followed you.
They followed me home, and they wanted to thank me for that, for me being aware of that. And to me, in the most simplest forms, when a spirit follows you back to say thank you like that, because I'm not sure we talked about this on any other podcast, but
no, I don't think so.
There was a spirit that was in the house that we were having the retreat at during our walkthrough.
Before the retreat,
before the retreat,
bless the land and the space and prepare the energy for our retreat. And yeah.
When I got there, Jeannie felt it, and then her husband, David, he felt it too. He goes, "There's a spirit here." I said, "Yeah, there is."
He knew where it was too. Like he knew.
He pointed
right
he pointed at the
like,
stairs and knew exactly where it was. So, that spirit, when he did that, was saying that he wanted us to help him go home. He was ready. He can see that we can see him and help him. And the ohana, the people came in to greet him, and we sang a song for him to go out in an honorable way. And so those spirits came here. They've been here the last 2 days, and I've been hearing them, and they're singing and they're thanking me. And just, the memories keep coming back through like that really, really beautifully. And when it's that simple to do something like that, and just to wish better for some spirit who's stuck between worlds, that is a beautiful blessing that we get in return. And I don't know, really what their intentions were. I just know that they were here to say thank you. And just by their presence alone makes me really, really grateful to be able to do the work that I have been doing. Now,
I think they want to work with you on other projects.
Yeah, probably. And
So
the thing about
I think they're making themselves aware. This is just the message I'm getting. You could tune in and see what you're getting. But I think they are wanting, they like the work that you do and how you're, pure heart. I mean, if I could say, that's what I feel from you. The work you do is pure heart. That's why we have this connection. And because I could feel your heart. It's just so beautiful. And they love that work, and they're willing to work with you on other areas to project.
So here in June, when we have this retreat, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of that energy, and we'll be able to teach simple mediumship energies, practices, meditations, and journeys to help for those of you attracted to this work, attracted to this land, who want to experience these things. And and with us will be Jeannie and I will going to be your leaders to protect and make sure that everything will be okay for you, and to guide you on this journey here in Mount Shasta. Now, one of the easiest things to do for anyone who wants to really learn how to receive messages or have a connection with Earth, and it's super, super easy. And basically, the Earth has what we all have: heartbeat. Mm-hmm. The heartbeat in our bodies pulses the blood into our mind, into our eyes, into our senses, into our growth. Helps us with our bodily functions, helps us with our laughter, our joy, our energy, right? So the same thing lives here in Mount Shasta and on the world, is this beautiful heartbeat. And when we can get in tune, in silence, and just listen to the heartbeat of your own chest, it will be in unison with the heart of Mother Earth. And you can start visualizing what the heart does to the trees and the plums and the fruit and the rivers, and it just feeds all of the beautiful assets and creation on Earth, the animals, butterflies, all those things, the wind, everything is in tune with that one pulsing of heart. And so when you go to this mountain, we're going to get into a place we're going to get silent and listen. And then when you start to hear your surroundings, you're going to feel like you're going to almost disappear out of your body. And that's the perfect time to make wishes, to ask questions and ask your higher self, what this life is about. What is my purpose? How do I come back into my power? What is my abilities? What are the things I'm meant to do on this planet? And it might not always be what you expect. And that's the beauty of it, because whatever you decide, you'll always be supported by spirit, and so.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So one of the things I love about Mount Shasta, and that's what's drawing me there. I was there last June with you and David, and we had such an amazing time. And the reason why I wanted to do this retreat in Shasta is because you are so connected to nature. You're just thrown into, you have the waterfalls, you have the trees. We even saw bears, we saw eagles, we saw deer. It was just you just feel, so you get into, and the butterflies, there are tons of butterflies everywhere. I don't know if that happens every year, but we'll see. It was just feeling this connection to nature. And of course I feel it here on Kauai, and I love it. It's a different, it's a different energy than Mount Shasta. And I love that, it's a little cooler. It's, it's a little woodsier, and just feeling that connection. And then of course, the connection to Lemuria, which we haven't even talked about, but Kauai is one of the last living landmasses of Lemuria, and Telos, which existed in Mount Shasta. And you probably know a lot more about that than I do. I just know what I read, but you can bring in the Lemurian energy of Mount Shasta and connect with that vibration.
Just to kind of point it out, Jeannie turns into a little girl when she comes here, and she's able, her innocence is able to manifest bears. At a time that our bears don't usually come out. And we were fishing, her husband and myself, in the river, and she says, "Is there eagles? I want to see an eagle." I said, "Well, they sometimes." Oh, look, there goes one now. It started flying right over the river. And
a golden eagle, a golden eagle that almost his wingspan seemed to fill the entire river. And he was fishing too. It was oh my God. And so David's yelling at me, "Eagle, there's an eagle!" And I can't even I'm speechless. I can't even talk. He's like, "Did you see the eagle?" I'm just in awe of this magnificent being that just flew past us. It was incredible. Yes.
And she goes, "I want to see bears. Where are the bears?" I said, "Oh, they don't come out until about August." And then we're driving to the lake, and there's a friggin' bear on the road, or a cub. And
I
she's trying
said,
to
oh,
feed it
Matthew,
apples.
there's a bear right there. He's like, whoa.
So, but anyways,
And
Telos.
we fed
yes,
the bear. We fed the bear apple.
yes, you did. You fed the bear. You absolutely did. You gave it apples. Anyways, enough about that. I think she's spoiled with spirit, but that's okay.
No.
Telos, Telos and Lemuria is a very dramatic. The entry to that vibration is even more dramatic than anything, and we're going to do a journey, either her and myself or together, and to teach you how to open your heart and your awareness to that veil. And basically, what there is that it's a reflection of your soul. And if you are willing to look at your reflection of your soul, you have entrance. If you're in your ego, if you're in your mind, if you're like, oh, I want to see this, I want to see that, and already having expectations, you're going to have trouble. So we're going to gently coax you into a beingness of awareness and help you to expand your light body so much that when you come to the entrance, you'll see Metatron. Metatron has developed these scrolls. He has these scrolls of gold, letters from God about your soul. And so when we get to that place, the scrolls will be implemented into your crown chakra and into your body to give you what they call like an angelic, it's like a membrane of light that goes around you from the angelics. And by implementing that scroll, there's going to be an expansion, and the membrane of the angelics helps you to flow with the telepathy and energy of that journey. That's the best way I can explain it, I guess. And then once you get to the doorway, there's a waterfall that you have to walk through in order to cleanse yourself of this world. Because when you go to that world, you have to be pure. And so that is why I'm going to be pouring Sweat Lodge in EP here in Mount Shasta over at my friend's house. And we're going to be having, everyone come to that. So if you have ever sweat before, you want to experience purification, and we just go in there, we do 4 rounds. I don't like to burn out people. I like to have people pray during those rounds, pour water and sing songs and burn and put some medicine on the stones and help people to get this connection, wipe out the outside world so you can become more in tune with Mother Earth's heartbeat and the energy that surrounds this beautiful land. And so with that, hand in hand, I believe people are going to have an amazing experience. And that's what our intention is.
When we were on the mountain, just before we knew a lot, David also is going to be joining us on this. So he'll be doing some fun stuff too. But we got to this spot, and apparently it was Metatron. There was a doorway to Metatron. And as soon as I got to that spot where we were seated in meditation, I started seeing sacred geometry falling into my crown chakra. All these symbols and, triangles and math symbols and all sorts of symbols sacred geometry started coming down. And it was like a transmit, just like you were saying, being washed into this energy. And then later on, David also was in that spot, and he said he saw the exact same thing. So that was like blowing my mind, just that, like, oh my God, we had both the same download of that energy. And then it is like, the way I felt it, like there's a waterfall, but there's like you drop into the dimension under the mountain, and you go into the inner mountain space. And that's where Telos was, and the crystal energies that
there's a crystal grid,
and different vibrational energies that were down there, and connecting with that as well. So it was just.
There's what it looks like is like a plank, like a ruby plank of like a crystal grid as you're walking into the energy of Telos, and underneath in that whole grid is a line, like a tunnel of light that comes from Lemuria. And so that combination of Telos and Lemuria, the Pleiadians, Bigfoot, the little people thrive off of that light. They thrive after, we call it Madaksomnik. The mountain, the Indian people call it Madaksomnik, which is the man on the mountain. And there's some pictures you'll see like in the surrounding restaurants, and someone like a bear, black bear, there's a black bear museum with all the different pictures of Mount Shasta downtown. And there's one picture of, you'll see, like I think I have it on my phone somewhere, you'll see a light on the mountain itself. So when people are doing vision quest on the mountain, right before the light hits the earth in the early morning, that is the word called Ampowi, which is the light that hits the earth, is that first light. And as soon as that light hits Mount Shasta, there's a man standing on that mountain with rainbow lights around him. And that's Madaksomnik, that's the man on the mountain. And so that cool energy, it has been, medicine people have prayed up there. We had a medicine man, his name was Red Hawk Tom. He died back in 2013, but before that, he would go up on the mountain and we would have ceremony up there. Sweat lodges, literally.
On the mountain.
There was almost like and I don't think I've ever taken you there.
No.
And it's a river, a little creek that runs down, and then there's like, you could see the veil. There's like a wall of light right down that river. And then there's a plateau of stones where the Karuk used to have their sweat lodge.
Wow. Yeah, I can't wait. Well, you saw when you came here to Hawaii, we took you to a spot where, the ancient Hawaiians were speaking to you and connecting with you. And
that's right, over at that farm.
Yes.
Yeah.
There were buffalo. There were buffalo on Kauai. That there were buffalo down there, and they
Tonka, water buffalo.
Yeah, and they came to you and gave you a message.
Yeah. They that was a really inspiring experience, because I didn't know what she said, "Oh, I'm just taking you to this place." She didn't exactly tell me what, and I like the best. Those are the best trips, really.
Yes,
you have to figure things out. And walking into that place, I started hearing children and seeing children running around. And then they said, "Come over here, there's an altar over here." And I said, "There's an altar over here." And then the man that was talking to us is telling me about if I can feel anything from this place where this chief lived. And I didn't feel him there. But then I heard a bunch of laughter and kids playing on that side. They were, come on, there's an altar over here. Then I said, "What's over there?" And then he said something like, "Well, there's a sacred area over there." Oh, well, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
And so I went out there and I just wanted to sing and give my love to the spirits of that land. Yeah. And so there's a video that we have on, I have it on my TikTok, the singing of me out there singing to the water buffalo. And it's a sacred child healing song. And so I sent that prayer to that land. And yeah, there was a lot of power there. And on the way out, the chief was standing on the mountain way up there as we were leaving the gate. He was up there on that. And I kept taking pictures of that up there, and I don't know why. Now I know why. Because I started hearing him. He was praying in his language to the sky and to bless the island and to bring fruitfulness and protection to the children. So there was something about the children there on the island. And the messages that I got basically was about ohana, about family, of bringing aloha back to that land, because so many, now this isn't a judgment, this is just an observation. A lot of rich people are buying up that whole, Mark Zuckerberg and all these people are buying up all the land out there from the indigenous, and a lot of the sacred areas are being overturned. And especially this place that Jeannie and I were at this retreat place, they asked for an altar there because they miss having the feelings and the energy of aloha, the celebration. And any loud music or anything was prohibited,
right,
as we were told.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we're doing a retreat in October back here on Kauai also. Yeah. And maybe when you come in October, we'll do something specific for the children.
Yeah, that sounds wonderful.
Sounds like that. That's
And
kind of like a
yeah.
message for you to do something for the
I was
children.
going to say something else, but I know this is we want this to be too long.
Well, go
But
ahead. Say it.
so, that time when those people took me down into the cave,
Yes.
and that same thing happened.
Right.
She told me, stand over there. That's the Lemurian doorway. And when I stood there, it wasn't about the spirits weren't all about happiness and joyful that we were there. They
Mhm.
were asking where the children are. The children need to be here and to be singing and having a good time so we can see, how people are living in this world. Because the children basically, and that was the same message that I got from the whales, was that they were saying that the children are the cradles of light coming back to the planet to teach us. And the more that we love and hear children more and not ignore them, the stronger their lights become to bring ascension back to the planet. Because our planet is getting divided in so many different ways, nationalities, politics, all that stuff is really, really keeping us apart. And the children is the answer. Our future of our children is the answer to bring us back together. So, and I think that is the most important thing. And so when I delivered that message to the woman who was running the ceremony, I don't quite believe, I think she was expecting me to tell her wonderful, beautiful things, but I just told the truth. I'm not going to sit there and candy coat anything, especially when spirits are involved, and so I told her, I said, they're not very happy. They don't like all these people coming in here and just doing what they do, mistaking this place as, their own harem to do their own, work in there. And I was quiet because I didn't want to say anything. I didn't want to ruin my I didn't want to burn any bridges. Yeah. So when she asked me, I had to tell her the truth. I said, they're not happy. They want to see children in here celebrating. So, those are the messages that have been coming through very, very strongly from the mammals, from the spirits, from the lands. And we need to get back in touch with our innocence. And that's pretty much where it's at. And Jeannie has a lot of it, by the way. She has a lot of it. She's here.
Definitely
you gotta put a leash on her because she'll just run around,
I would love for you to share, while we still have some time, your message from the whales. Or if you want to do a shorter version.
I'll do a shorter version, I guess.
Yeah,
so,
okay.
Well, I'd already talked, so I was in meditation, and Merlin, he says he was helping me with this new program that he calls soul sculpting. And it's where you can work with your divine knowledge of your library of life, not your life in this body, but your life as a soul. And there's a library of infinite wisdom in our higher self that has accumulated all the energies and all the messages and all the experiences through all our soul's life, not our physical life. And so he was showing me how to bring that knowledge into my crown, and he created this beautiful temple of light, and it's gorgeous. And outside was like a jungle, like Kauai, and he had it looked like golden leaf frames around his windows. It was just amazing, like being in a ship or something with Merlin. And he was showing me how to create angelic energy chakras and placing them with intention on your crown to refurbish our original chakras. He says your body isn't like a default program. You can recreate yourself at any time. And so he's sharing me with this wisdom that we're getting. So as we're doing that, he says, let me show you something. And he grabs my hand, he takes me in through this window, and we're in the ocean. And I looked at him, I said, can I breathe? He goes, go ahead, breathe. You're all right. I'm like, oh, okay. So, okay, I can breathe. So I'm traveling down, and then I see these beings, standing up. And as I swam closer, there were whales. And so I started swimming in between them, and I could see barnacles, on them, and I was like wanting to touch them. But as soon as I started to feel into them in my telepathy, an orca or a killer whale came right between all four of them and just came, his big old head came up. Whoa, it's like, what do you do? Well, I'm in meditation. I have Merlin with me, so I think I'm okay. So I put my head against his forehead and I held on to his jaw, and I started to see like flashes of light just instantaneously, as if I was traveling into his awareness. I'm taking it as him being a he, the way that I felt from him. And so I saw the world, and I saw the smoke, and I saw the pollution, and I saw the junk, and like you would see in a documentary, garbage floating in the water and fish laying on the beach. And he was saying that, the world is in trouble. He says the humans are destroying our beautiful planet. We need to think about the ecosystem. We need to think about clean energy. And if there's anything to clean energy, we need to provide more of that. We need to get rid of the oil. We get rid of all these things. Now, I don't think that way, because I have a huge
big truck,
Toyota TRD, 2020 V8, truck out in the front yard.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, well, but so I went on, to think, well, I probably need to change, maybe even start recycling. All these things I started thinking about after I had this vision.
Mm-hmm.
He says that the earth was created to be an earth cradle for those new souls coming to the planet Earth. And these new souls are going to help to develop the ascension process for the rest of humankind. And all it takes is us to start caring about these things. As you care about something outside yourself, you build and rehash and refurbish that cradle of light, he said. And so I started asking him in telepathy, what are the solutions here? Am I the only one that can see these things? Or are there others like me? He said, there are many others like you. You're not the only one, but you're the one that heard our call today. And so he says, the more the other light workers spend more time by water that's moving and not stagnant, you're going to start to hear the messages. Even in the wind, you're going to start hearing the messages. Yeah. And when you feel compelled to go somewhere, listen to that, he said to me. Okay. I said, I'm compelled to go to Kauai in October. Oh, that's not the same. You already planned that. Okay.
Yeah. Well, we're glad to
get away with that one. So, I believe, and then the beautiful thing was that while I was having this interjection, this connection with this killer whale, in the background, the dolphins and the other whales were singing their songs. Aww. As if to hold space for us while we were making this connection.
That's
like singing out to everyone else that, hey, this is happening, we've started this. And lo and behold, when I came out of that, I went on to Facebook, and Katrina, my friend, she had posted, Matthew, check this out. And a woman had just posted something similar to mine, and that she had the message from the dolphins. So I'm like, wow, so people are starting to listen. And that's pretty much what my job is as a worker, as a medium, as clairvoyant, interpreter of spirit. Excuse me. And so it's really amazing to be shown these things, because what it does for me as a man is that it moves all my doubts away and all the things that I thought wasn't true. Am I really hearing this? Am I really seeing this? Well, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like where that message was coming from.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. And you're in Mount Shasta, and you offer sessions while people are there. So if people are going to Mount Shasta, other than our retreat, which is going to be June 8th through the 13th, you could see it on my website, dolphintouch.org, under retreats. Is it on yours too? Did you put on your?
On my website, yeah, I have a link tree that has all the different things that I do, my classes, my mentorships, my metaphysical classes. I'm teaching this month, by the way, March 20th. I'm going to be teaching the beginners mediumship classes to teach people how to get in connection with spirit, and not just talking to dead people or people on the other side. It's more about really learning to, like what we just talked about creation. Yeah. About learning to tune into the land, tune into a devastation that happened there, and just to simply make a prayer there and make that go away. That's all you need to do, is to feel into that. So it's more of a empathic upgrade for anyone who's empathic, intuitive in that way. So that's happening on Wednesday, March 20th at 5 p.m. Pacific time, and that's going to be a 7-week course that I'm teaching.
What is your website, Matthew?
What's that?
What is your website?
My website is Matthew matthewsbueno.com.
So people can find you.
Matthew, S as in Stephen, Bueno, Matthew's Bueno, which means in Spanish, Matthew's good. I have to say that. Anyways,
bueno.
Bueno, yeah.
Buenos
dias.
Yeah.
Buenos tardes.
Yeah.
Buenas noches.
And on Facebook, Matthew Bueno, and on Instagram, it's still Matthew Bueno.
Still Matthew Bueno, yeah.
Yeah.
All good.
So definitely, if you're in Shasta, you can get a private session with Matthew. What do you call your sessions?
Energy sessions, shamanic sessions.
Yeah, I've had
shamanic
a few.
Sessions. Say that 5 times fast.
So powerful. Past life regression.
Past life regression, removing entities, helping spirits go home, paranormal stuff. It's very easy for me to do that. Working with your inner child, learning to clear your emotions that you've carried from lifetime to lifetime, and help you to get more in tune with your own personal power and your own personal light inside yourself. I'm even right now, I'm teaching people how to build out their own companies, build out their own businesses for themselves as a light worker, as a psychic, or whatever it is that you are feeling called to do. Helping them to have the wording for websites and all that stuff. So I'm a full package.
Full package deal. Yes. So definitely, if you're in Shasta, you want to check out Matthew. If you're on Kauai, you want to check out Dolphin Touch Wellness Center and what we have going on here all the time. Different things, different workshops. We're actually doing a talk tonight to talk about some of the sonar that is going on. They want to put down these sonar lines to connect for communication, but it's going to interfere with the whales and dolphins, because we know that whales and dolphins use sonar. So we're trying to make people aware of some of the things going on there. And this month is Dolphin Appreciation Month. I bet you didn't know that.
No, I didn't know that. Wow.
So we're appreciating the dolphins in all sorts of ways. So we have a lot of talks here. One tonight, one tomorrow night with the cosmic swimming, and yeah, so I'm very excited about our retreat in June, and we'll share some more. I mean, we didn't even go into the details. We're going to create medicine wheels. We're going to do sweat lodge. We're going to do ceremony. We're going to do Lemurian meditation and transformation into that past life in Lemuria, and bringing forward the good stuff, and then seeing what needs to be healed from that lifetime, and inviting Telos and whatever energies of Mount Shasta want to join us on that journey.
Just to kind of intervene just a little bit. Jeannie is a very powerful guide when it comes to taking us through Lemuria. I had an experience with her that I did not expect, and it was incredible to be able to see myself in a different body, in a different world, in a different timeline, and I'm learning to say this word more and more, androgynous.
Yes.
And so it was an amazing experience. So whoever comes is going to experience Jeannie as well, and her fantastic way of taking you very deep inside. And she has a very calming spirit, and just a really beautiful way she expresses herself to bring in people into her awareness, to help you really seek past your own personal veils to see your own personal truth. And the beautiful thing about it for me is that whenever I have an experience like that, it takes me a long time to process about the things I experienced. But with her, for some reason, I was able to tap into my innocence that much quicker, and just to accept what I was feeling, and to accept that new possibility of what I have become in this lifetime. So thank you, Jeannie, for that amazing.
Oh, my pleasure.
Still working on me, still working in my behalf. So thank you for that. It was very powerful for me.
Awesome. Yeah, the work is really more. The only thing really I teach is people to just love themselves, more and more and more, love and accept ourselves. And, the dolphins have given that to me and shown me so much love and joy and happiness. And that's what they're here for. And it's for other people too, to feel that love, the love of themselves, and accepting no judgment on anything, whether we're androgynous, whatever we are, it's like accepting and loving ourselves for even our misgivings or whatever issues we have, where not everyone is enlightened, so we're all on this journey together, and we all have things to learn, and we might stumble along the way, but it's loving and accepting ourselves and say, okay, we're gonna learn from this and move on.
Yeah, the only regret I have right now is that you're darker than me and I'm in Mount Shasta. It's
Yes.
been snowing here.
You're a little pale there, Matt.
I know.
You need some color.
Thanks.
Yes.
I need to go to a tanning
I
booth.
think there's a tanning room somewhere.
I'll be all right. First month I'll look darker than you.
Yes, I know. I'll just be red and then white again.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here today and sharing your beautiful work that you do. Thank you for your gifts to the universe and gifts to my family. You've helped my family out so much.
Yeah.
And my personal family and my Ohana family, people here on Kauai, are looking forward to your return. Actually, someone was, because you had hinted about coming back in February, like, is Matthew coming? And I'm like, no, he'll be here in October.
It was, I wanted to really bad, but there was so much going on here that I need to catch up on.
Yeah. Well, you had your own personal journey that you're working on. Yeah. Well, thank you again. And we will be in touch. MatthewSBueno.com, I guess. And then Matthew Bueno on Facebook and Instagram. And hui ho from Kauai.
See you later.
Thank you. And